Welcome to Tamara Lynette Tales. I'm Tamara, and I spill the tea on your favorite reality stars. Married at First Sight After Party Season 15, Episode 1. This episode featured Krysten, Justin, and Stacia. The signature cocktail was called the First Kiss Fizz, which is kind of like a gin fizz. It has gin, lime juice, maple syrup, egg white, and soda water. So After Party is taped a month or so after Decision Day, and I believe they wait to tape it for at least two reasons. First, they can't tape it in real time because they don't know what footage is going to make it into the final edit until later. Second, they have to fly the cast to Los Angeles to tape After Party, but the cast is still tied up taping Married at First Sight during the season. But as I sat through this episode, I was thinking this show should wait and only cover the episodes after the wedding, because watching Krysten and Stacia pretend like they don't know who they're gonna marry while wearing their wedding rings was silly. But let's get into this. Keisha played the scene where Alexis said Lindy talks too much, then asked Krysten and Stacia their opinions of Lindy. So Stacia said Lindy is intense and will say exactly what is on her mind, but she said she's the same way and connected with Lindy. But Krysten said she gravitates more towards Alexis and Stacia because they are boss bitches and very successful. So they didn't actually show what she had to say about Lindy, but based on the way they edited that answer leads me to assume that Morgan and Lindy aren't together financially. Why didn't they get the boss bitch label? So Keisha asked Justin what he thought about the guys. So he said he clicked with Nate, and he's iffy about Mitch because he has a dark personality. And he said Mitch told them that he doesn't like surprises. So they were all like, well, why on earth would you get married at first sight? Duh. Okay, so this is one of those questions that I found weird because Stacia and Krysten supposedly don't know who their husbands are, yet Keisha and Justin are openly discussing the personalities of both of their husbands. Anyway, Keisha played some of the bachelorette party footage where Alexis is swinging around the stripper pole, then asked Justin how he feels after seeing some of the pre-wedding footage. He said nervous because he thought he was getting someone who was quiet and reserved, so now he doesn't know what to expect. Child, that's nothing. Wait until you hear her cry like a squeaky toy. She showed the scene where Justin told his brother about getting married and his brother rejected the idea, which caused Justin to cry. Well, watching that scene back, Justin started crying again. Now, keep in mind, this is the guy who says that his brother called him a crybaby growing up, and he doesn't remember crying that much. Nothing wrong with being a crier, but own those tears, brother man. Anyway, he said he was getting emotional again because he thought his brother would be more supportive of him and where he's at in his life after going to therapy to heal from his previous engagement. So he said he and his fiance's plan was to move to Colorado after the wedding. Even though they broke up, he stuck to the plan and moved there for 4 years, and he claims he found himself there, but his brother didn't give him credit for his growth. So Keisha kind of surmised it that he left one person and came back a different person, but his brother was still judging him based on the person he was when he left. Yeah, okay, whatever, I guess, but that exchange between he and his brother at the bachelor party, that hurt my feelings. So it turns out Justin was lightly dating someone right before he got married. So Keisha asked him what he told the woman, and he said, I didn't tell her anything. She'll find out when the show airs. He was like, I didn't know what to say. Stacia said, the truth? Okay. The woman probably didn't care anyway because according to him, women only wanted him for his chocolate bar and he was allegedly celibate, so she could probably care less that he got married. Keisha showed the clip where Krysten explained to her friends that she's not going to tell her dad that she's getting married until the day of her wedding. And Keisha was like, why do that? And she said, well, she already dragged her friends and family to a destination wedding that didn't have a groom, so she wants to make sure it's actually happening before she takes her dad on this roller coaster. Plus, she attempted to contact him to tell him, but they were playing phone tag. So she thought about it and concluded she's way better at explaining in person, so she's going to drop that bomb on him on their wedding day. I don't know, that still doesn't make sense to me because she told everybody else. So to add insult to injury, everyone is going to be keeping this secret from her dad. So Keisha asks if her dad does not approve of the wedding, would she call it off? and she said it would be really hard to walk down the aisle without her dad next to her. All the more reason to tell him beforehand, to give him some time, like to let this information marinate. But by the day of the wedding, she's contractually obligated to go through with it at that point, as I understand it. So there will be no calling off of anything wedding related, Miss Ma'am. Next, Keisha played the scene where Stacia told her mom that she's getting married, and her mom asked if she's going to ask for a postnup. So Keisha asked her about how that conversation is going to go, and Stacia said she's not going to be shy about it because she's the type to ask a guy his credit score on the first date because she wants to get those deal breakers out of the way. Now, I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke. Keisha asked what she'll do if he says no to the postnup. Stacia said she'll say no on decision day. Again, this is an unnecessary question because everyone has to sign a prenup before they get married. This is reason number 37 why I think they should only cover the episodes after the weddings because they are reaching into a black hole to find questions to ask these people. Anyway, Keisha played the scene where the officiant at Justin's wedding was talking about Alexis and making vagina moles out of clay. She asked him what he was thinking in that moment, and he said he thought that she was very creative. Okay, creative, you know you were thinking she was a freak in them sheets. Don't play with me. When it came to meeting Alexis for the first time, he said it was like they were in a bubble. Just the two of them, and it was love at first sight for him. Okay then. Keisha showed the scene where Alexis and Justin were talking after the wedding, and he brought up his engagement and she brought up her 3 proposals. He said the 3 proposals let him know that she knows exactly what she wants and is not going to settle. All the more reason for you to be worried because knowing this show, you are most likely not exactly what she asked for. Because what they didn't show him was the scene where she said he was uncomfortably tall. Now that's the main scene I wanted to see him react to, dang it. Meanwhile, he said on his wedding day he had butterflies and hadn't felt like that in a long time. Aw, aren't you precious? But we all know those butterflies are going to turn to knots and stress because that's what this show does. But I'm here for it. This is going to be interesting.